No. Hold on. I got a statistic for you that I want you to listen to. According to the Nucleus Research and Start Us Insights to 2026 data, they state for every $1 that you spend on the CRM, the average return is $8.71. Do you not know that is a 245% ROI? That 245% ROI of $1 is going to change your life. And I was like, okay, wait, hold up. Here's what, according to the Aurora Nexus and Demand Local Inc. says, responding to leads efficiently through CRM automation can increase your conversion rates by up to 300%. Ooh, let's talk about it today. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Marketing with NDUB podcast, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you about 3 core things. And I got my notes because I don't want to lose track and I don't want to make this long, because I know if you're struggling with 3 things, being consistent, you want to grow, and you're tired of working so hard, this is the podcast for you. This is the video for you. Look, we about to get it. As always, I got my music playing, so we're going to keep it going. So look, listen, Linda, listen. So I get it if you are trying to be consistent and been inconsistent. You're trying to scale, but you don't have a system in place, and you're working so hard and you're not seeing results. This is what I want to talk to you about today, because I'm realizing, even for myself, that I saw this video, right? And I'm just going to get right into it. So look, I want you to play this. I want you to watch this video, and I'm about to watch it over here so you can see what I'm talking about, because it is for real crazy. So here, let's watch it.
Did you know that there's actual neuroscience behind why getting on camera every day changes your life? Not just your business, your life. When you see yourself on camera, your brain activates your self-referential processing network. That's the part of your brain responsible for how you understand and narrate yourself. So every time you watch yourself speak, your brain is literally updating its model of who you are. You're not just watching a video, you are rewriting your self-concept in real time. Most of us are walking around with a self-image built by other people, by rooms that made us feel like too much, by years of editing ourselves to make other people comfortable. And that self-image shows up on camera as hesitation, shrinking, rushing, apologizing for taking up space. But when you get on camera consistently, not perfectly, consistently, your nervous system builds a new reference point. You begin to see yourself as someone whose voice takes up space without apology. There is also something called the mere exposure effect. The more you see something, the more familiar and safe it becomes. And this includes your own face. Every time you get on camera, you are desensitizing your nervous system to your own presence. You are making yourself feel normal to yourself. And when you feel normal to yourself, you stop performing and you start communicating. And communication is what sells. The camera is not a marketing tool. It is a nervous system training device. And the business growth is just what happens when you finally stop being afraid of your own voice.
Pretty deep, huh? Pretty deep. I had to share that with you because I watched that and I was like, wow. It changed my whole perspective of when I was creating a video that I was doing some research on. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Hold up, wait a minute, let's take a step back, rewind that. Nathan, listen to that again. And I did a video about this. I don't know if y'all remember, but I did this video. I sat here and I'm just like, I need to think about this. So for those that are not watching on YouTube, make sure you go and check out the YouTube page so you can see all the things that I'm talking about. I will drop it in the show notes in the description so you can follow along with me. So the number one thing that I just want to get to and just get to it, because I don't want you to say like, Nathan, what are you talking about? I'm really talking about something that's not new for top creators and entrepreneurs, small businesses. And I'm going to give you some stats. And again, this will be in the show notes. This will be in the description, because I don't want you to not have this information. This information is going to be key for you that want to be consistent, want to grow, and again, not work so hard. This is what's called a CRM. It's a customer relationship management tool. And this is a system that you go and deploy to make your life easier, to make your business run smoother, so you can have the lifestyle that you want. Now, Before you tell me a CRM is too massive for you, it's not for you, it's not for your brand, you're way too over the top, Nathan. No. Hold on. I got a statistic for you that I want you to listen to. According to the Nucleus Research and Start Us Insights to 2026 data, they state for every $1 that you spend on the CRM, the average return is $8.71. Do you not know that is a 245% ROI? That 245% ROI of $1 is going to change your life. And I was like, okay, wait, hold on. And that is just getting organized with all the things that you're doing. Remember, you're inconsistent, you're all over the place, you're trying to multitask, it's not working, you're like working extra hard and you're not getting those results. It's because, again, you don't have a system in place to keep it all managed. Now, just real talk, keep it real. I gone to having multiple CRMs, but I couldn't afford it. And so this is not a plug. And if you are interested in learning what I use, you will see that I have posted about it. But if you want more information on what I use, feel free to hit me up, because this just is my tool that I'm giving you from my experience. There are other good tools that you can use that you could afford, or maybe you can't afford. But I'm just telling you the tool that I'm using, that I can afford, that has helped me and my business grow. And ever since I've been using it, man, I have seen a tremendous difference. But I couldn't afford these tools before, and now I was doing the best that I could to keep up. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't keeping up. All right, so look, I want you to write down these 3 things. All right. Write down these 3 things. I don't want to rush through them. I'm excited. I don't want to go too fast, so I'm just going to stick to my notes, because, man, I can make this into a long podcast and a long video, but I want you to follow along with me, because this is really important for you to understand, especially if you're just starting off, because the first thing I want to talk about is being consistent. Now, I watched this podcast yesterday, and it talked about something that really stood out to me, and was talked about how to go from 100,000 to 1 million to 10 million. And one of the first things she said was, you got to be consistent. So if you're talking about being consistent, what does that mean? We're going to talk about it, because again, I got these stats in here that I don't want to mess up. So when it comes to your brand, what I have learned all along, but I haven't systemized it, is about relationships. You're taking the time to do, from the networking to the reaching out to the cold calls to even maybe referrals, the word of mouth that you have done. You have taken it and now you're putting it into a system to have it work for you, rather than you continue to work for it and you may miss an appointment, you don't follow through, and it doesn't look that great, right? So this is where, instead of competing like with others that are able to follow through, this is what the research says. The Grandview research shows that 90% of companies with 10 or more employees, which that's who you're competing with, and 71% of small businesses are actively using CRMs. So if you're not using a CRM, I'm telling you right now, you're behind. I'm an employee of one, but I have 5 other subcontractors that work with me, and we use this tool. So when it comes to consistency, here's what, according to the Aurora Nexus and Demand Local Inc. says: responding to leads efficiently through CRM automation can increase your conversion rates by up to 300%. Whoa. So let's talk about this. You're focusing on building this funnel, and maybe it's not paid, but what if it is paid and you're having trouble converting? I know since we've been going through this new era of it's all digital, there are some small businesses that are struggling because they like the in-person. Look, the in-person works. It does. Boo. Bro, sis, I get it. Absolutely it does. But on a digital level, this is where a lot of people are going to consume that content. And this is where, if you're not consistent with it, how can you grow? This is why you say, oh, Nathan, I'm working so hard. I need your help. Like, well, hold on. I'm going to ask you, what systems do you have in place? If you don't have a system in place, then how am I going to be able to help you? Look, I ain't trying to work harder than what I need to. And that's how you feel. You working so hard. And look, we ain't trying to do all that boo-boo. Oh, all right. So here, let me keep going. Because again, I can get carried away here. And there's a book called buy back your time. I don't know if I said that right, but buying back your time means you are now working smarter, not harder. And it is all about making sure when you're putting out content, you're putting in a system that works, that you can track it, because when a CRM does that for you, it analyzes and it allows not just you can delegate this work to others so that, again, you don't have to work so hard. So here's another statistic that I want you to read. Automated CRM workflows can save you 20 plus hours a week on administrative tasks. Now you can say, Nathan, I have AI to do that. Guess what? They got AI too. So it also reduces the time spent qualifying leads from 45 minutes down to 5 minutes. Like, hold up, you're trying to tell me, and I don't know if y'all ever heard of a call center. I've worked at a call center, and I know how to do first hour and last hour dials, where you're calling just on an auto redialer, calling and calling and calling. And I'm like, man, it would be nice to have a better way to qualify these leads, because, man, this be hard. It's just, man, I'm tired of getting answer machines, get hung up on. But when you have a CRM, it doesn't for you. And by the way, my CRM is also on my phone. So I don't know why it keeps going back up. So let me keep going, because the number one thing I want to get you to is this next stat. Is it says, because you are organized, people buy faster. 34% of businesses report that their CRM system shortens their average sales cycle by 8 to 14 days. Overall, businesses see a 29% increase in sales revenue and a 34% boost in their productivity. And so this is where I'm like, wait. So now you have already worked hard. We're not saying you're not a hard worker, but now you can consistently amplify and compound your hard work to now you don't have to work as hard and you're seeing the results faster. I just had an intern ask me, like, Nathan, how do you know if what you're doing is working or not working? And it's easy. It's results. Yeah, we use these tools, but if you're not using the tools correctly, how are you going to be able to grow and scale at a rate that you can afford? Because it's not just like a job where, yeah, we're going to be done working for the day, we're going to be done for the week and the month, but at what point is a succession? How are you going to plan to sunset or transition? And here's where, if you have a system in place, man, that transition could be a lot easier. Or you scaling and having people grow, it's a different conversation. So the last thing I want to talk about, as I was saying, working hard, is how do you future-proof this, especially in 2026, where it's crazy to say we're almost done. But I'm going to tell you, we got to embrace technology and lean into AI, because now you're operating on the go. I kind of gave you that little Easter egg of saying, I have my CRM on my phone. And so this is where you need tech that moves with you and thinks for you, because look, there's a lot of information there and it takes energy. So here's what a CRM does, and this is where I thought it was pretty cool. They say you shouldn't have to be glued to a desk, and CRM.org found that 65% of salespeople who use mobile CRM tools hit their quotas, compared to only 22% who don't, which is a crazy stat. So you don't have to live on your phone. This is not Crackberry days. Man, I miss my Blackberry though, I ain't gonna lie. And a lot of this stuff is on the cloud. So cloud-based systems are taking over at 85% of the CRM market. That's according to the research Nestor, meaning you get massive scaling power without expensive tech startups, and you don't have to worry about using all the space on your phone. On top of that, it's organized, and again, it's consistent with the brand that you're working with. And more than likely, which I haven't talked about, when you go and talk to your other clients, you don't need to pull up all this paper. You don't have to worry about finding it in this on a drive. It's all in the system. And so they say this year AI has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, which is 83% to exceed their sales goal if you're using it correctly. And that's according to the Demand Local. They say, like, AI can write your follow-up emails, summarize your meetings, and tell you who to contact next. Like, my CRM does that for me. So here's the thing. If you're building a personal brand that isn't working 24/7, you are way behind the times. And look, boo-boo, bro, sis, I've been there. I've done that. And this is why I'm sharing it, because a CRM is a system. And let me give you the perfect example of my own personal experience. I give my kiddo my phone and they are on this CRM. I'm calling this a CRM when technically it's an e-commerce tool. You can guess what it is as I continue to talk. They say, Dad, can I just look on the phone? I want to look at a couple of things. And after a while, I even see the algorithm start changing to the things that my child has looked at and is already knows our buying habits, right? They know where we live, they know the card, and so we can either click buy now, go to our list, but they say here's some things that you can consider that are comparisons. They have the best CRM tool out there, and it's an e-commerce platform, and they make it so easy to buy. This is the part where I'm like, why are we not using that? I mean, I get it on the service. If you do services, like it's a much harder game than if you're selling products. But if you're selling products, this should be a lot easier for you. But I get it if you haven't been told this. I get it if no one talked to you about this. So this is where I want to tell you, this is where you could be missing out on. I don't want you to miss out any longer. We're in 2026. You don't have to work so hard. This is 2026. You don't have to work without technology that's not able to fit on your phone, that you have to pay exorbitant amount of dollars for. This tool can work on your phone, on your computer, and it can help you be consistent, scale to where you want to go, and you don't have to work so hard. So I'm telling you, if you haven't already looked at a CRM, let me know. I'll be more than happy to walk you through my own. But this is where I also was saying when I started with that first video, right? I was looking how I was showing up on YouTube and on Instagram. And I was like, well, what's my CTA? Well, part of my CTA wasn't built into my business model because I didn't know really how to show up. And I'm just keeping it real. I was showing up just to put out content because I hadn't built the back end. So I was talking to this big marketing agency person, and I told them they were offering their services. And I was like, hey, look, I appreciate it, but I'm now building my CRM. And they were like, oh, so you're on top of it. I'm like, yeah, I just didn't know it was going to be this hard. And they were like, no, it took me a couple of years to build my own. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Look, this person is on, has multiple books, is on speaker platforms. They do reach, they're a really great person. I don't want to say who they are because I talked to a couple others, but this is a person who has said that it took them years to get to this place. And when they told me that, I felt so vindicated, but also it made me realize that I don't want to say I'm behind, but I'm also not missing out. However, I felt a huge surge of urgency to get going because now that I know, it's a race not against others but it's with me, because I want to make sure I don't fail my clients. So on a personal level, I told you about my kiddo, how they scroll. I told you how on a personal level, talking to another, they were like, if you're not using this, you will get left behind. So I'm just like, okay, all right, I got to do it. And now I'm going to tell you, do it. Don't get left behind. And I hope whatever barrier is keeping you from getting to that point, really think about, I don't know how else to say, think about how much time you spent working hard. And look, I'll just keep it real. One of the things that kept me from doing this sooner than later, I'm gonna keep it real. Can I keep it real with you? Look, I want to keep it real. Woo! Oh boy, okay. Let me keep it real with you. There is a lack of self-confidence with me. And my self-confidence, I needed to be told and be seen in rooms sitting at the table. And when I realized it was about my insecurities and about my ego, things started to change. I'm just keeping it real. That's why I wanted to use my notes, because I can talk about and get really excited about this. But I'm just gonna keep it real with you, because there is, in my experience, what I've gone through, and I've talked to others, you just feel like you can work hard and it's not enough. And I'm going to tell you it is enough, but you got to start showing up in a way that is for other people. Like my YouTube has helped me show me that I can show up on someone's phone while they lay in the bed while it's nighttime over here, daytime over here, and I'm still able to deliver the same quality of service as if we were to talk and meet up in person. Now, I would rather meet up in person, but in order for me to meet in person, we have to get some of this information out to you. I'd rather do that. So again, I'm just keeping it real. It was about my ego. And it was part of that too, was because some of the systems and automation, CRMs, I couldn't afford it. So now that I can afford it, now it's like, how do I just lift this top off and go to the moon? Because I realized that I have been working so hard and I've been wanting to grow, but I've been inconsistent in how I've been doing it. And a lot of that had to do with my ego and my low self-esteem and my insecurities, coming back to putting my value on the money I'm not making. Well, that has nothing to do with it. I got the education. I got the experience. I know how to go about it. I just couldn't afford it. And now that I can afford it, shoot, let's go. Let's do it. So with that said, if you need help, let me know. I'm just trying to keep it real and keep it fun because, y'all, I've stayed up many nights and I looked at others trying to compare myself with what they say. Comparison is the thief of joy. So until next time, I wish you nothing but the best. Dream big and Godspeed. I'm out.